Watching the northern side of our forecast area with this other tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. A little bit of circulation right now to the east of Salina. That tornado warning for Mayes County until 6:30, also for Delaware County until 6:30. So let's zoom down a little bit tighter, and that circulation is just north of Highway 412 between Salina and Bull Hollow. And Doppler radar is indicating that we do have that strong rotation now that has just entered the western side of Delaware County. So just a few miles from Bull Hollow. You can see on Doppler about 4 miles to your southwest. And so really paying attention to this over the next couple of scans. It's not as intense as Pittsburgh County, but we still have to watch that area of circulation. Something to keep in mind here over the next couple of scans as we continue to track this tornado warning as well, Michael.
I appreciate that, Brandon. Again, just has turned into a busy one for us with multiple tornado warnings that we are keeping a close eye on. And again, right now we've got the confirmed tornado here over Pittsburgh County and soon to be moving here into parts of Latimer County. And it's been cycling as we've gone through here the last hour and a half or so. It's gone through multiple cycles. So again, zoom in here a little closer. And again, you can see right around the Hartshorn and Haleyville area. That is the area of most concern right now. We still have that circulation back here to the north and to the west right near Dow. And then we also have the new circulation that's been developing here farther to the south, with perhaps this thing starting to cycle and form a new circulation here very near the Hartshorn area. And that's going to track off to the east-northeast. And again, all this is about ready to cross over here into Latimer County. So there's Centerville, and up here is around areas near Bowers. And then, of course, we've got Wilburton as well. So again, those of you here from Bowers to around Wilburton, also up to around Center Point, Chile, over to around Drum, need to be in those tornado precautions right now. Circulation still back here right near the Centerville area. And again, we still also have that circulation here near the Haleyville and Hartshorn area that is now working to probably right over the Haleyville vicinity. And then the new one is back here a little farther here to the east. So seeing this sort of cycle, it looks like, you know, sometimes these will go through phases and they'll strengthen and then they'll weaken and then they'll strengthen again. And right now it looks like we're kind of watching this cycle and perhaps going through one of those phases where it's cycling and trying to reorganize just a bit and likely seeing new circulation here developing off to the east. Let's go back over to reflectivity. We'll get back down to this. By the way, I want to point this out as we switch this over to reflectivity. Look at all the rain, likely the hail that this is just embedded in. You're not going to see this. This isn't going to be one of those tornadoes that you can see coming at you. It is buried in the rain. So again, it just makes it extra dangerous. And that's why you just need to be taking those tornado precautions, because you won't see it until it is right on you and the wind starts to pick up. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Again, we do have multiple storms ongoing across the area. As Brandon was just pointing out here, we still have the tornado warning here for parts of Mayes County and moving here into Delaware County. We've also got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings here into Wagner County, Muskogee County, also here into Cherokee County, and still keeping an eye on some of this back out here to the west. Let me switch this over to the Tulsa radar real quick. And still keeping an eye on what's going on back here into parts of Pawnee County, as well as we're getting additional storms to fire up here. So we'll have to keep a close eye on these. These are kind of all by themselves. It's again, these could have a chance to become a little better organized. They're not being as influenced by other thunderstorms like we're seeing a little farther to the east. So these will need to be monitored. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for Pawnee County and for Osage here into western portions of Pawnee County and far western portions here of Osage County as well. Switching this over to hail detector, imagine we're getting some pretty decent sized hail looking at that reflectivity here. And you can see the hail core with this certainly indicating probably about inch to inch and a half diameter hail here, western Pawnee, far western Osage, and that's going to track off here to the north and to the east. So Ralston, Fairfax, Caw City to around, eventually here up to around Scheidler. We'll keep an eye on this as well. Potential for some damaging wind and hail with that particular storm as that continues to move off to the north and northeast. Let's zoom out just a bit. And again, additional storms that we're keeping an eye on here. Let's go in a little closer, and then we'll get back into the south. But let's go back into this tornado warning that Brandon was tracking for us. So earlier, switch this over to velocity data, and the velocity certainly showing signs that it has weakened some, but you can kind of still see kind of a broad area here of rotation as this tracks very near Spavinal and just to the east and southeast of Spavinal. Likely some very strong wind gusts with this here. As we get to kind of click on some of these areas here. Yeah, look at these wind gusts here. These are potential for some very strong winds. We're getting some 60, 70 plus mile per hour winds with some of these velocities here. And again, that doesn't mean you're seeing that at ground level. The radar is kind of hitting a little farther up in the storm, but you see that, you're still probably getting some pretty good winds down at the surface. So let me zoom in a little closer here on some of these. And again, even if you're not right where that circulation is, sometimes around the south side of that circulation, you can get some really strong winds and potential here for some really damaging wind gusts moving right into the Bull Hollow vicinity here as this comes across into Delaware County here from areas in Mayes County. So just keeping an eye on the wind damage potential with this as it does track off to the east. But we still also have a tornado warning in this area as well, but what we're looking at here is mostly just straight line wind gusts that could potentially be quite damaging. So even with that, you want to make sure you are inside and of course an interior room away from any sort of outside walls and windows for sure. So again, still take those tornado precautions here. The circulation itself looks like it has weakened some, but we still have an ongoing tornado warning here. And that circulation, which is broad, is now moved off here into western portions of Delaware County. We'll switch this back over to reflectivity, and you can kind of see how this is bowed out a little bit. That would indicate here that we've got some strong winds here moving in from the west. Let me take those off of there real quick, and let's pan farther here down this line just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at. Again, numerous strong to severe storms here working up to near Locust Grove and Choteau. We've got a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings with these. Wagner back over down to around Muskogee. And again, what we're seeing right now in these areas, nothing tornadic, but we'll continue to scan. And then we've got the tornado warning storm farther here to the south into Pittsburgh County and into Latimer County. Brandon?
That's right, Michael. So we're watching this area of rotation to the southwest of Gore, and it's kind of getting our attention and has been tightening up over the past couple of scans. So you can see on velocity what we're kind of concerned about in this location right here. So we're going to have to really watch this just near and to the north of Interstate 40. Right now, just a severe thunderstorm warning, and that goes until 7 o'clock. But watching this over the next couple of scans, because that is up. There we go, Michael. We have a new tornado warning, so I'll have you discuss that.
Yeah, there it is right there, and Brandon was right on it. There's the new tornado warning. We were kind of watching that. Do want to get back here. Let me go ahead back. We'll do that while we've got that new tornado warning. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. The storm that Brandon was actually just pointing out. Let's see if I can get that to, there we go. And see if we can get that to show up here. You can even see a bit of a hook here in the reflectivity with that as well. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little closer. Let me switch that. Actually, we'll switch this over to the Fort Smith radar. That'll give us a cleaner and better image into this storm. There it is, really pronounced right there. So again, what was the, if you have a chance, if someone wants to chime in, the speed of this particular tornado warning?
35, Michael.
35. Yep. Okay, so let's draw this out at about 35 miles per hour here. That is right near Gore. So Gore, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now, moving to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So again, Gore, you don't have any time to wait. It is right there. Take those tornado precautions. 6:29. So Gore Landing, 6:31. Redbird Smith at about 6:39. 10 Killer State Park, we're looking at 6:40. Black Gum at about 6:44. Box 6:44. Evening Shade at about 6:50. So we're looking here. This is going to track right across northern portions here of Sequoia County. May clip here southern portions of Cherokee County and eventually Adair County. So we're going to have to watch this area here, right in here over northern Sequoia County southern Cherokee County and southern Adair County. That's where we have a tornado warning now in effect for that circulation right there that is very prominent and looks like in the process of strengthening. So again, tornado precautions here. Let's get a little farther to the south. We've got, again, as well, those of you here to the south, that tornado warning.
And I've got you a storm track on Weather 3, Michael, if you want to take that.
Okay. There's our storm track right there with this particular tornado warning. This is the one that's over Latimer County. So we've got to Wilburton, 6:38, Robbers Cave State Park at about 6:39, and Panola at about 6:47, Red Oak at about 7:01. And that circulation right there is quite pronounced. That is a tight circulation. So again, confirmed tornado with this as well, as it's been tracking off to the east and north and east. And we've noticed this particular storm cycling quite a bit here as it does so. So there is our circulation with this. I'm going to go in just a little bit tighter as we just had there there on Weather 3. But there is Bowers, and here's Drum, and right here is Centerville. So it's just coming basically almost right down 277 here is the way this is tracking. So again, Bowers and eventually here to around Wilburton, you need to be taking those tornado precautions right now. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer. So here's 270 here. And again, that circulation is quite pronounced. You've got your red outbounds right here, so I'll draw that on here for you so you know what we're talking about. Again, we're looking from the radar in Fort Smith, so that's back behind me. So the reds, that's air flowing away from the radar site. Greens, that's air going to the radar site. And there you go. You just draw it on there, and you can see right where that circulation is. And these are some intense velocities as well. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a few of these, especially some of these inbounds here. Again, likely seeing here, yeah, 83. Some of these are, there you go, 117. So again, that is not uncommon to see some of these types of numbers when you're looking at a tornadic circulation. Again, we're still hitting pretty high up into the thunderstorm, so this is not going to be ground level type stuff. But it gives you an idea at least of what we're looking at here as far as the circulation. It's very pronounced. We've had a confirmed tornado with this as well. Let me switch this over to correlation coefficient. Still looks like we do have a bit of a CC drop with this right here south of Bowers. Let's see if that lines up here, and it pretty much does. So again, still likely an ongoing tornado here. Near Bowers, it looks like it's tracking very close here, near maybe just south of 270, but it's probably going to come across 270 here near Wilburton. So again, Bowers, tornado precautions right now. Wilburton, tornado precautions right now. Center Point over to around Dagnan. Robbers Cave State Park over to around Patterson. All of these areas, Chile at about, again, also need to be taking those tornado precautions. Again, what you want to do is put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. What that does is it hopefully puts more barriers between you and any flying debris that the tornado may be producing. So that is the idea behind that. Again, if you have a helmet to protect your head, it could be a football helmet, baseball helmet, motorcycle helmet, whatever you got, put that helmet on, and always make sure you have some good shoes on, something to protect your feet. And in this case, it looks like we do have a confirmed tornado ongoing. So if you happen to be impacted by that, you're going to have a lot of broken glass. You're going to have a lot of broken things, nails that could be laying around. You don't want to be trying to get through the debris in bare feet. So make sure you've got some shoes or some boots on as well before you take your tornado precautions. But it has been busy for us the last few hours here, Brandon, tracking a lot of severe weather.
Certainly, Michael, and now new from the National Weather Service around Gore in Sequoia County. We do have a confirmed tornado warning. We are seeing that debris lofted into the atmosphere, and the radar is picking that up in the Gore area. So here's our debris signature. There's a new scan there from the radar, and just to the northeast of Gore, about 2 to 3 miles, that is our debris signature. So as we zoom down a little bit tighter, that is going to be just to the east of State Highway 100. Again, east of the center of Gore with a confirmed tornado warning. So if you're downwind of this, definitely take your tornado precautions. We do have that Sequoia tornado warning until 7 o'clock. Also in Cherokee County and around Bunch in southwestern Adair County. Confirmed tornado warning until 7 o'clock. So we're in quite the busy phase early this evening, Michael.
Yeah, the parameters were there. I mean, if we got storms that develop, we knew the parameters there that they could be rotating and they could produce tornadoes. And unfortunately, that is what we are seeing right now. And again, we've got 2 confirmed tornadoes right now. We also have a significant thunderstorm warning. Again, with this one here to the north, this is the one we were tracking those strong straight line winds with that could be pushing over 70 miles per hour. And that's what we've got here now moving into Delaware County. So I'm going to switch this back over to reflectivity here and go back here to the Tulsa radar to give us a little cleaner view here. But I'm going to zoom into this, and we're going to get back down to those tornado warnings because this also high impact here with the potential for some very strong and powerful wind gusts. And it's this area here that's surging forward. So we're looking here east of Spavinaw. This is coming right now lined up here, coming right into Highway 59 here from Jay southward. And again, looking at some of this velocity data here, potential for some very strong wind gusts with this. And again, the radar is going to be hitting a little higher up in the storm, so this is not necessarily what you're seeing at ground level, but sometimes some of these gusts can get down to ground level and really produce a lot of damage. So this is not tornadic here. This is just straight line winds coming here across Delaware County that could be 70+ miles per hour, and that is definitely enough to knock things over and cause some damage. So again, those of you here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit tighter just to kind of see if we can pop in a few more communities here. This is coming right here into Delaware County. So again, here's Highway 59. Again, this is a beautiful stretch through here. If you've ever driven, it's kind of a windy road. But right now, we're seeing a lot of strong winds coming in here, and that is going to come right here south of Jay, eventually here to around Sycamore, Maysville. The wind is going to pick up as some of those more intense winds come in here from the west. So again, nothing tornadic with this, but certainly some very strong damaging winds, maybe a little higher up than what you might typically think of with a severe thunderstorm. So just wanted to point that out there too. So even areas where we don't have tornado warnings, we've still got some really strong and damaging wind that we are tracking. All right, let's zoom back here. Let's go back south here into Latimer County where we have likely a tornado still ongoing here. I'm going to switch this over to the Fort Smith radar to get a little cleaner view here into this. And again, there's the reflectivity here. And again, Mark Folta is out here as well. He's kind of working his way here south of Wilburton, looking at the velocity data, still very strong. Boy, I tell you what, Wilburton.
Yeah, let's get Mark on the line. He has strong RFD winds and the tornado rain wrap just to his north.
We've got a shot on weather 3 if we want to take that.
There is Mark's view right here. So that is his view. He is south there of where that tornado is there in Latimer County, some strong winds. And you can see the challenge of chasing in Latimer County. You got the tall trees, you got the mountains down there, some windy roads. And Mark staying with us, he's likely getting hit with some fairly strong winds here. And Mark, do you have us, can you hear me? Okay, no audio from Mark yet, but we will check in with him here in a second. But there you can see his vantage point. If you don't mind, I do want to go back to weather 1 real quick because I want to really keep an eye on this circulation because this is coming right near Wilburton. And when we get Mark, just chime into my ear and we'll get to Mark. And so let me go ahead and get a look at this circulation. And again, I want to do this before we get to Mark because we've got the circulation here right near Wilburton and Cedar Point. So this is the area of concern right now. Let me see if we do a correlation coefficient. Not seeing as much here with the potential CC drop with this that would indicate some debris being lofted up, but just need to watch this closely. Back over to velocity data here. Again, there is that rotation. There's your red outbounds, your green inbounds here. So our circulation's fairly broad right now. We're not getting those reds and greens right on top of each other, tightly packed, I should say. But again, that is the area of concern. So tornado precautions right here, Cedar Point to Wilburton, to Ludi, over to around Panola, and then also as we pan farther here to the east and northeast, we've got Kinta, LaQuire, and as you head back to around Lodi and back over to around Red Oak, again, need to be taking those tornado precautions right now. Let's zoom back out here, and again, we've got Mark Folta. He is in areas here south of Wilburton, so you can see here from Wilburton down to Damon, there is Mark here. We're getting some very strong winds, and so we were pointing this out earlier with what you call the RFD, the rear flank downdraft of these storms. It's the rotation, or not necessarily the rotation, but it's the air that kind of flows around the rotation of the tornado, and you get some really strong winds, usually on the backside and south side of where that rotation is, and that's where Mark is right now. He's dealing with that. In fact, we'll go ahead and pick some points here. It looks like we're getting some pretty strong winds here, 81 miles per hour, 81 perhaps, and again, down to where Mark is, we're looking at some 60s here. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that these are down at ground level, but it certainly means that we've got some strong winds, at least where the radar is hitting the storms aloft, but sometimes those winds can get drawn down to the ground in the form of gusts. So again, likely even south of where that rotation is here with the circulation here near Wilburton, still likely dealing with some damaging wind gusts well south of where that circulation is. So again, those of you even to the south here are going to have to deal with some pretty strong winds. Again, we'll go back here to the north. There's our circulation. It's not as tight as it was earlier, but it is still here. So again, we've got our red outbounds here. You can see right near Robbers Cave State Park. And there's our green inbounds here. So our circulation is right here. And we'll keep an eye. Sometimes this storm has got a history of cycling. And what will happen is one rotation will start to weaken. And usually out east somewhere, you'll get a new rotation to form as the storm reorganizes. So going to keep a close eye on that just in case we would happen to see this storm cycle and try to reorganize. Let's get back here to the tornado warning that we've got now for Sequoia County, southern portions here of Cherokee County, and also into southern Adair County. This has been a confirmed tornado here as well. There's our circulation here. And again, let's go in just a little bit tighter now on this right near Box and Evening Shade. We switch this over to velocity data. Again, more than likely somewhat buried in the rain here, unfortunately, so it's not going to be something you can see. That can make it a little extra dangerous. But watching here for that circulation north here of Vian. Again, we're in northern Cherokee County, kind of more northwest Cherokee County, or I should say Sequoia County. Box over to around Evening Shade. Let's switch this back over to velocity data. And there is our circulation here. Maybe perhaps, let me look at the reflectivity here, might be trying to get another circulation, trying to get going here in southern portions of Cherokee County. So let's take a look. Let me go ahead and get that severe thunderstorm warning off of there real quick. And again, or just move that out of the way. But again, there might be another area right here near Qualls. That might be worth watching here as well. Perhaps another area of circulation trying to develop here, southern portions here of Pittsburgh County. So keeping a close eye on that. So one area here, perhaps new circulation trying to develop. Here's the original circulation that did prompt the tornado warning and even a confirmed tornado warning that Brandon was pointing out earlier. That's tracking here near Evening Shade. That's going to come right up here on the Cherokee County and Adair County line. Let's zoom in just a little closer here and see if we can get maybe a few roads to show up here. It's a very rural area, as you know, through here. So again, thankfully, not a lot of people live here, but people do live here. So that circulation's right near Evening Shade. We've got, again, here is Evening Shade Road. There's East 966 Road. We've also got areas here, again, anywhere from South Blue Top Road. And also here, again, there's South Blue Top Road, Flute Springs, anywhere here, southern portions of Cherokee County, northern portions of Sequoia County, and eventually here, southern portions of Adair County near Bunch, need to be taking those tornado precautions right now for that circulation here off to your south and to your west. And again, we'll have that other area that we're kind of keeping an eye on there, northern portions of Cherokee County. Let's go back here. Again, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me kind of zoom out here. What I'm going to do is let's switch it over to reflectivity. You can see the multiple thunderstorms that we've got in the area. So even where we don't have tornado warnings, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings that are ongoing right now with damaging wind gusts and hail potential. And this storm here over parts of Delaware County has been a little extra intense, with wind gusts 70 to 80 miles per hour possible. So again, that one a big concern there. You get winds like that, and it can almost behave like it is a weak tornado when you get those types of winds close to 80 miles per hour. So, and it's even more widespread than what than a tornado would be. So again, watching that area here over Delaware County. Let's zoom back in there as well. And again, just kind of scan some of the velocity data. We'll switch this back over to the Tulsa radar and get an idea of what we're looking at. So again, still some very intense velocities here, just kind of working their way right across portions here of Delaware County. And earlier we were seeing some of these numbers up into the 70 mile per hour range, and still looks like we're still up there pretty good. Let me take that off of there real quick and see if we can get some of those velocities to show up. There we go. And again, looking at 60 miles per hour here, 51, maybe coming down just a little bit, thankfully, from what we were seeing earlier, just picking some random spots there. So hopefully some of that is beginning to tone down a little bit from what we were seeing, but still those wind gusts of what we were seeing are enough to produce some damage. So we're still going to monitor that as well as that tracks off to the east. Doesn't look like much looking at the reflectivity. The wind in there certainly is packing a punch. We'll zoom back out again. We've got storms here as well into western Osage, into eastern K County. Those are lifting off to the north and northeast. Those are going to come across the state line here, may affect western portions of Chautauqua County in Kansas. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Back
Michael,
here to the south, new tornado warning, it looks like.
That's what I was going to mention.
Okay.
I got you a storm track on Weather 3 if you would like that.
There we go.
That's going to include parts of Haskell County as well as parts of LaFleur County. The circulation does look like it has managed to maybe weaken just a tad right on the community of Wilburton. We're still watching for any debris detector or any official reports. We don't see any of that. I have fanned out the storm track here just a bit because this circulation has wobbled at least a little bit, and the Weather Service has sort of drawn the new warning, maybe citing for a little bit of a left turn. So we'll watch for that as well. But again, this has put a wide range of communities maybe in the crosshairs here. One thing I want to point out, I know we have talked about this sort of ad nauseum, but here's the circulation, and then on reflectivity, look where we are. I mean, we are buried not just in the rain, but more than likely within some hail as well. This is what storm chasers would call the bear's cage. The point behind this is don't try to go out and see this. I know it's still 6 o'clock. I know there's still a lot of sunlight out there. You're not going to see it. It's going to come to you fast before you even realize. And so community of Wilburton and beyond need to be ready for this, as this thing, again, as Michael mentioned, maybe is weakening for the moment, but has just had a history of cycling. Yeah, it certainly has. You know, we had the first tornado report, as you were mentioning earlier, Colton, right near the Atoka and Pittsburgh County line, and since then it has cycled at least a couple of times, and we probably had a strong tornado out of this as well in southern Pittsburgh County after one of those cycles. So we're keeping a very close eye on this, as it perhaps could do that again. Again, the atmosphere that these storms are in here, as you get into western Arkansas and southeastern portions of Oklahoma, it's favorable. I mean, the storms certainly would have the potential to rotate and continue maintaining that strength, if not even strengthening. So we do have to keep an eye on that with this, as it does track off to the north and to the east. So real quick, let's jump in here, as Colton was pointing out that new tornado warning. Let's go back here into this tornado warning now. The new tornado warning that has been issued for the circulation here right on the Sequoia, Cherokee, and Adair County lines does not include the confirmed tag, which is certainly some good news, but we still have rotation here, and well, at least for now, that rotation looks like it's tightening a bit here, south and eastern portions of Cherokee County. This looks like this may have strengthened a little bit from last check. Let's go ahead and zoom in here a little closer. That's looking pretty prominent right now. So we might be getting a new area trying to tighten up here. This is southeastern portions of Cherokee County. We're south here of Barber. There's Flute Springs. So basically kind of right between here, Cookson and Flute Springs. That's the area of concern here. Of course, we're looking from the Tulsa radar. Let's switch this over to the Fort Smith radar. That'll give us a little cleaner view and a little lower view here. There's the reflectivity, but there you can even see in the reflectivity how you're getting little hook coming around. There's your inflow notch right here. So that's the air that's flowing into the storm here. There's that little notch. And then that RFD that can produce those strong winds that we were talking about, that's what's wrapping around here. And it looks like we've, again, just had an updated look at that tornado warning. Let's switch this over to velocity data
And yeah, even from the Fort Smith radar, that is fairly prominent here. I think we've got new circulation developing, maybe a developing tornado here near south of Barber. This is going to come right across here now into southern portions of Adair County. So let me kind of scan over here into southern Adair County. So we're looking at Bell to Salem to Lyons to Bunch to around Greasy. So right now you need to be in these areas here, even up to around Stillwell. Go ahead and just be prepared. It looks like we've got developing circulation here, maybe strengthening circulation, not really developing, but strengthening circulation.
Take a look at CC, Michael, from Fort Smith.
Okay.
And
yeah, there you go.
I'll let you be the judge, but that looks like a drop to me.
That looks like a drop to me. I think you're right there, Colton. I think you're right. So that would line up right with where that circulation is. And we were talking about this earlier. Correlation coefficient, it's kind of a long term, kind of maybe difficult to pronounce, but while the gist of it is, it's measuring what basically the object is hitting. Raindrops have a certain return to them. They're usually smooth, and they actually are a little flat as they fall through the sky because of the friction, and you get a certain return from radar as that comes back to the radar. Meanwhile, you have tree debris, leaves, or perhaps anything, that's going to have a different return. So that's what this is picking up here. We're picking up something that's not meteorological. We're picking up debris that's being lofted by a tornado that's on the ground here in southeastern portions of Cherokee County. So this is right here between Cookston and Bunch. Right there it is. I mean, that is it right there. That is a confirmed tornado here. That's going to come right across here from Cherokee County into Adair County right near Bunch. So those of you here, Lyons to Stillwell to around, this is Evansville, Arkansas, to Bell, to Bunch, to Greasy, I would be taking your tornado precautions right now. We've got a new tornado that has just formed here in southeastern portions of Cherokee County. This is it right here. There's the drop in the correlation coefficient, and that's why we know that there is a confirmed tornado with this, because it is picking up something that is not meteorological. It's picking up debris that is being lofted up into the sky, and the radar beam is hitting that and giving us a different return other than water or hail. So again, that's what we're keeping an eye on here. Let's go back over to the velocity data. It'll line up here. Right there it is. That is where the circulation is. That's where we're getting the debris lofted up into the air that the radar is picking up. So we'll likely have a new tornado warning here dropped very shortly for that as that continues to track here off to the north and to the east. So again, here from around Bunch to Lyons, you need to be taking that tornado precautions right now. And again, the idea, taking your tornado precautions, interior room away from any outside walls and windows. Again, in this situation here, we do have a confirmed tornado that is producing debris. The idea is to put as many barriers between you and the outside as possible to prevent that debris from going in and hitting you. So that's why you want to get into an interior room. As far as a structure goes, that room hopefully is a tightly packed room. Of course, if you have a storm shelter or storm cellar, that is the best option. But of course, it continues to be a busy evening for us. Looks like that circulation is now tracking a little bit more to the north and to the east. We've been tracking storms all evening long and through much of the afternoon. Meteorologist Brandon Woley, it has been busy. What have you got for us, Brandon?
That's right, Michael. We're inspecting the mesonet stations across the area for some higher wind gusts, and we just got 2 reports within the last half hour. In Webbers Falls at 6:30, a 63-mile-per-hour wind gust, and in Wilburton at 6:40, a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust. Of course, when we're looking at these wind gusts, they're just at the mesonet site, right at the anemometer site. So, of course, very strong winds probably elsewhere, but at these 2 sites, we've had damaging wind gusts, and of course, we have these ongoing tornado warnings. Michael?
I appreciate that, Brandon. And again, just still keeping an eye on these areas. Again, we talked about earlier, the atmosphere quite favorable for tornadoes this evening, and we've had likely several confirmed tornadoes in our area so far. So keeping an eye on this. New tornado warning now has just been issued for the circulation here near Carter's Landing. Let's go ahead and pan up here. So that just dropped in. So we've been tracking this particular circulation here that likely has a confirmed tornado with it. And then we've got a new one here near Carter's Landing. That's going to track off here to the north and to the east. So what I may do, I'm going to zoom out just a bit, and then we're going to zoom back in and look at these tornado warnings. We've got multiple tornado warnings here lined up across south and eastern portions of the area. So let's go ahead and do the tracks here on our Cherokee and Adair County tornado warnings here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually take kind of a broad track with these. I'm going to track both of these circulations with one storm track. And so this will kind of include multiple circulations here. So again, bunch, basically right now you need to be taking those tornado precautions. 10 killer, 654, Lions at about 659, Rocky Mountain at 701, Blanche 705, Cherry Tree 705, Zion, Titanic 707, Spade Mountain at around 708. And again, eventually downstream here, these circulations and potential tornadoes would eventually move here into northwestern portions of Arkansas. There's the new